What's this? You didn't notice this?
What? Notice what?
Major!
Oh. So it wasn't activated. Oh.
You're good now. Hello, everyone. My name is David Reed. Welcome to Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. Thank you so much for joining me. I have someone special to introduce to you. She is a new kid on the block in terms of the Stargate world. Samantha Pierce, model on screen. Welcome to Dial the Gate. How are you?
Hi, I am great. How are you?
I am well. You are in Japan?
I am. I am in Japan.
Are you in
Yes.
Tokyo?
Close to Tokyo. I am in Fusa, Japan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the story over there? How did you find your way into Japan? Screw the
So,
Stargate stuff.
funny enough, since this is a Stargate channel and we talk about Stargate, but military, so the Air Force, that is how I got here. So I was just stationed here. And now I'm in Japan. I was in the States for a long time and brought me to Japan. So I've been experiencing Japan and I've been having a really good time. I actually really enjoy it here. The people are
It's
great.
beautiful. Yeah.
It's
I haven't been
beautiful.
in
The food is
years, but
great.
are you
Oh,
still
you've
in service?
been?
Yeah.
Awesome. I am not. I did 8 years in the Air Force. And that's one of the things that surprises a lot of people when I'm watching Stargate. I see certain things and I'm like, oh, that's this, or oh, that's that, or I remember this. And they're like, what? How do you remember that?
Well, thank you for your service. It means a
Thank you.
lot
I
to have
appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, I visited in 2018. Was it 18? No, it was maybe it was further back. It's been it's been further. It's been a while. So, but I loved
Okay.
it. I explored Tokyo with a friend of mine. He was fluent, and thank God he was fluent. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been
Oh,
able to get around
wow.
anywhere. Do you speak any Japanese?
I don't. I
Okay.
did download an app to learn, and you know how that goes.
No, I get it. The kanji are I mean, thank God that there's some Latin alphabet there, but it's so long that it's like
It is.
this is might as well not be there at all. So
Right.
So this
Yeah.
is your first go around with Stargate. You are in season 2 now on your Patreon side, and those details are in the link below, folks, for her YouTube channel and for Patreon. So you are a few episodes into season 2. I gotta ask, what do you think?
I love the show. I really do.
Ah,
And all of the fans, when they made it to my channel, they were like, "You're gonna love it. I can't believe you're doing Stargate. So many people don't do Stargate and they should, and
right?
you're gonna love it." And I absolutely do. I'm so into it. Like I'm watching the episodes and I'm just like stuck. I'm loving every moment of it. So I'm really enjoying it.
So I know you're a big sci-fi fan. Why Stargate? Why was Stargate next? Especially when you have 354 episodes, a film, and 2 DVD movies. Most people would run for the nearest. Well, you haven't gotten to airlocks yet, but run for the nearest airlock. So why was this? Why did you decide? I mean, was there just some part of you that said, "How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time"? Or was it something you wanted something to binge for the next several years?
Exactly. That's
Okay.
exactly it. Well, I'm a big Star Trek fan, and so if you watch my reactions, you will see I reference Trek
Yep.
pretty much every episode because I mean Trek is almost like the blueprint to all sci-fi, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But yeah, so I reference it a lot, and that's where it really started. I was looking for a show that would give me that same feeling I get when I watch Trek. And so, being a big sci-fi fan, I looked up a couple
Yeah.
things and saw Stargate just kept popping up, just kept
Yeah.
popping up. And surprisingly, I have never heard of it nor seen anything about it.
Really? An Air Force
Yes,
girl's never heard of Stargate.
never.
Isn't
And
that interesting?
that was one of the things that made me want to watch it even more because sometimes you hear about certain shows or like movies and you've heard so much about it when it's popular that you feel like you just know it, that you've already seen it.
Right.
But for me, I didn't hear anything about it. So it was like brand new. It was like, okay, I can watch this and have a completely immersed brand new experience for the first time.
Well, before I get into this any further, at the very least, let me fill you in on, man, these levels reset. I apologize, everyone, on having to crank up their volume, but I need to fix this. Teal, if you are watching, please help me fix this. It resets on itself. What? And now I lost my train of thought because I was stupid. So going back to my original thought, which was, I wanted. You obviously know there's a fourth series coming. At least I'm thinking you do, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's letting me know they're bringing
Okay.
it back. Yeah.
They are indeed. Yeah, I found out somehow. That's a big deal. So that's a big component of it. One of the reasons that I can't remember who it was who recommended you to me, and I found you, through the wanderings as we do, just like digging into Wikipedia or anything else. It's like, oh, I found this new channel. We are anticipating a spike in the audience, as it were. And I wanted to grab someone at this point who had just started their journey, who wasn't beginning it with the new show. And so that's why I invited you on. So I'm hoping that we vibe well and that you can come back intermittently as you go season by season into this thing. So obviously, there are some ground rules that you need to establish right out of the gate.
Okay.
How comfortable are you with spoilers? Is it absolutely nothing at all? Or am I allowed to be like, that could be involved in some way in the future? Am I allowed to say that? What is your, like, if 0 was I could say anything I wanted to, and 10 was no, like no means no, where do I fall?
So I think the slight hint towards that could happen is fine. Anything that's like a major plot point twist,
Okay.
I love Star Trek, my community, they have hinted towards certain things,
Yeah.
but maybe if there is some sort of Star Trek actor that pops up.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a few of them. So of course.
Yeah.
Because
but
that only makes sense too, because Brad Wright was a huge Star Trek fan. So you're going to see that come through in the storytelling too. You're already beginning to feel it, because one of the first questions I asked you over Instagram was like, are you sticking? Like, when I wanted to change the title of this particular episode, the first thing was, okay, how far are you prepared to go? Or are you prepared to just like get finished with SG-1 and then, or the certain era, I almost did it. Certain eras of certain characters, like, and so when you said I'm all in, it's like, okay, we have to change this up here. So general teasing, but no specifics.
Perfect. Exactly.
Awesome. So folks in the chat, if you want to get questions over to Sam or myself, put a question mark at the start of the post and then ask your question, and it'll get over to me and I will ask her. But keep in mind, you are only about 4 or 5 episodes into season 2, if that's correct. What did you just watch?
I am 8 episodes.
8
I just
episodes
posted
in.
2 more episodes, so I'm 8 episodes in.
And you have a Patreon.
Yes, I do.
And that's first dibs over there. And how long does it take before it filters down to YouTube?
I try to get it out as quickly as possible. I do also react to movies and stuff like that too. So it's kind of a mix between getting those posted. And I also did start another series on my Patreon that the first premiere episode will be posted soon. I mean, I can say what it is. It's not like
what is the show? Come on.
Firefly.
Oh, you'll get through that in
it's one season.
Salt. Yeah,
exactly.
So, but it is excellent, and you better have Serenity standing by, because when you get to the end of that one, like I ran to the Best Buy after I watched it, and it wasn't there on the shelf, and I was like, oh my God, I have got to have this now. So, I have to ask, what do you think about the collection of things that are behind me here, and seeing what might be in your future?
I think it's awesome. And I didn't watch any of your
You can't.
interviews because I
No,
didn't
you
want to get
can't.
spoiled. But I was like scrolling and I was like, oh my God, I want to watch that. Oh my God. And I was like, okay, I can't watch it. But
Yeah.
I saw your background and like I just clicked and just muted and looked a little bit, and I saw
for sure. I won't show it anymore
background.
as much as I can. Like one of these things over here, it usually like opens up, but I closed it, so it's not showing any cleavage tonight. But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of cool things that are heading your way. This thing, for sure, the Stargate Command logo, and Lockwatcher already wants to know, who is your favorite character thus far?
Oh my God. My absolute favorite character is Teal'c. He is just awesome. And that was one of the interviews with Christopher Judge. And I was like, I want to watch it, but I can't. So
you can't do it.
I can't. But Teal'c is my favorite. I just love him. And when you're a fan of sci-fi, you tend to gravitate more towards the alien-like characters. And so he's the closest thing that I have to that.
He holds a mirror to us.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's the Spock. He's the data. I almost said data. He's the Data. I grew up on
Data.
Yeah. What the hell am I doing? What's your favorite Trek
series? That's hard. It's hard to pick. I think I love them for all. Oh my God, favorite couple.
No, couple of Treks.
Couple.
Like for mine, I grew up on. I was born in '83, so I grew up on TNG and the original when I was younger. But my teen years were really Voyager. I fell in love with DS9 later and Enterprise often. But I love them all now. But I'm curious as to like where you fall into the timeline of Star Trek.
So if I had to pick three, it would be DS9, TNG, and Voyager.
Okay.
But I would think DS9 kind of has a one-up on them, in my opinion, because it's the first one that has like a real true overarching storyline. I mean, that's the first one that flowed into that. And it's just really good, and it has such a variety of characters that you can kind of like gravitate towards depending on your personality.
That's true.
And yeah, I love DS9 for that.
And they had never done serial storytelling before, and Rick Berman was so focused on at the time Voyager, that DS9 kind of slipped through the hole, as it were, and Ira Bear got to do what he wanted, and because of that, it's an extraordinary series. So I totally get it. Stargate SG-1 has a lot of TNG vibe to it. There is in many ways it exceeds the family element that the TNG cast did, especially with the core 4. How are you feeling about the dynamic between the characters? And who are you looking forward to watching grow the most? Is there anything in particular that you are looking forward to seeing down the line that's been hinted at so far? Where are you in your headspace for this thing? I'm really curious.
So the dynamics, I love the dynamics, and each episode you start to kind of see it peel away at the different relationships that they have. And right off the bat, the first relationship that I mean, it's been teased, and it solidified to me in Solitudes
Oh
is
yeah.
the will they, won't they with Sam and Jack. I am seeing that for them, and I'm wanting that for them. So I'm hoping that that comes up in the future, and I have a good feeling. But also the friendship between Teal'c and O'Neill is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am just seeing that grow, and especially in like the last couple episodes that I watched, it's really nice to see it between them. So I'm
That's
curious to see that.
that's spot on. But you are Air Force, and so what is the policy for a commanding officer and a subordinate in the Air Force?
Yeah, I am Air Force, but I also like a little rule breaking. Um, so I know it's not allowed.
Well, these are the top
However,
of the top, so
yeah, it's not allowed. However, we've seen them do what they want in real life. So I'm hoping that it's something that could still potentially happen. I know that Stargate, the writers and everything, they work really closely and directly with the actual Air Force. So
correct.
I'm sure that they said, this is what we won't do. We don't do that. Don't put that in there. But for the fans, you have to give the fans what they want. So I want to see that happen. And a little taste of that in the alternate reality, but I need more.
You brought it up. You brought it up right there. So Robert C. Cooper wrote There But For the Grace of God, which is one of my favorite episodes. Catherine, I'm getting goosebumps sitting here. Sam. Catherine comes walking through the door and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And he went round and round with the Air Force about that. It's like, guys, it's an alternate reality. It's an alternate Air Force. And they're like, we don't care.
Yeah, you gotta give a little.
So
You gotta
that's
give a little.
how on him and the team they were on it. So his solution was, I'm just going to make her a civilian. It's an alternate reality. And they were like, okay. So to give you a taste, that's how on it they are. But it doesn't mean that you won't have situations like There But For the Grace of God. So
Okay.
that's so you're a Jack Sam shipper then. All righty.
I am. I'm shipping them.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that we're going to do with this episode, you sent me a series of clips. I asked for 3. I wanted something small, and then it was like more. And so I reached out again. It's like, send more, please. Please, sir, may I have some more? So we're going to go in and out of these. I organized them according to the arc of the season. So they are in episode order. These, I also went in and pulled some that may or may not have something to do with the future. And so I want to explore these scenes with you and what your thoughts are of these particular episodes. It's about 7-8 shows that we're going to cover. There's a couple that are 2-parter, and we'll see where this thing goes. So you won't be able to hear it, but you'll be able to watch along. So you ready to watch one?
Let's go.
Let's see what you thought of season 1 of Stargate SG-1. So let me get started here. Here we go.
Something up with him.
I can save these people!
Ooh!
Help me! Help me.
Many have said that. But you are the first I believe could do it.
We got him, Eddie. We got him, revolt. Come on. I was like, something up with him. He blasting that thing. Bang, bang.
Do you edit yourself?
I do.
You're good.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
And that's just the first episode. I like to say I get better.
Well, absolutely. You're learning, you know?
Yeah,
How many shows have you done? Like how many? So is this your first series that you're doing a reaction to?
it is.
Okay. So you've done movies before. How many movies had you done up to this point?
To now,
Up to when you had started editing for Children of the Gods. So I'm curious to know
just
how much of an editing experience you have.
just one. I actually started with the Stargate movie.
So this
I
is
was like, if I'm gonna start, I gotta start.
wow. All right,
Yeah.
folks. You'll find her on YouTube on Model on Screen. And what other TV, what other films have you reacted to? I'm curious.
Oh, so the Stargate movie.
Yeah.
I've reacted to. I do sci-fi, fantasy, and supernatural movies and TV shows.
Okay.
That is my channel.
Okay.
I'm very niche, so I stick with that. But I've done Willow. I've done
Yeah.
Alien, Terminator, Pitch Black.
Good movie.
I just posted The Thing, which was
Yeah.
insane. But
Yep.
it's probably like top 3 movies on my channel.
And
Like,
you've never seen any of those?
never seen any of them. Sorry, Mom.
Oh. Okay. You got to
Yeah.
go back and watch Aliens. You got to.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be posting Aliens because I actually did react to it, and that'll be on the channel soon.
Okay, so what'd you think?
Amazing.
It's
I
it's
mean,
a completely
James
different
Cameron
genre.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
really
it's-
changed it.
It's military sci-fi. It's exactly what Stargate is. So it's one of the reasons that I
Yeah.
brought it up. So that's awesome. So did you at all see Teal'c turning at that point? Did you see it coming in the slightest?
You know, they showed little bits and pieces of just the close-ups, and
Spending a
with
lot
the
of time
filming,
on
you
him.
pay attention to the close-ups and his reactions,
Mhm.
and I could tell something was up with him,
Mhm.
and I say it in there. I was like, Something's going on with him."
That's right.
And I didn't know exactly what it was, but I did feel like what he was experiencing and what was happening in terms of the, Goa'uld being implanted and all that, he was definitely just not into it. He was having a change of heart, but I didn't know that he was going to like flip like that. Like,
Right.
and that moment between them, and this just brings me back to like the friendship between Teal'c and O'Neill, which I just love, is he trusted him. He said, like, many have said that, which that surprised me because I'm like, wow, many people have said that they'll help you get out of this situation before. Like, that's interesting. But he believed O'Neill. He really believed that he could do it. And so he trusted him, and then they trusted each other, and they made it out.
Well, and that's why he's got his back immediately into Enemy Within. It's like this, like no one's going to have his back more than O'Neill is. And the dynamic between them as the show progresses is one of my favorites. And it goes back and forth a little bit in terms of the fact that O'Neill will always be very protective of him, as you might imagine, being the alien outsider. Some of the best moments are when they treat each other like brothers in arms, but a couple of my favorite moments are when he treats Teal'c has a child's eye of Earth, and so
Yeah.
there are experiences that he has where he gets to treat Teal'c like a kid. There's a scene in season 4 with where he gives him quarters, and I won't tell you to what, but it's really adorable. So it's that, and it's that kind of dynamic that I really love between them. Even though this is not really a spoiler, it's because it's never consequential. But Teal'c is 100 years old in that pilot, so he's his age only comes up that once in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I always forget
So,
that.
Yeah, Jaffa are very long lived. They go through numerous symbiotes before they die, and eventually a symbiote won't the symbiote rejects the physiology of the Jaffa. It's a very small detail that we learn way later on, but that's how that works. So that's how they go. So, but they are definitely one of my favorites. I love the relationship between Daniel and Jack because that's straight from the film. What about you?
Yeah, I love it too. And you see that in the pilot episode as well, where, I was straight off of watching the Stargate movie. So I'm thinking everything's going to be exactly the same. And I learned that that wasn't the case. But it was great changes in my opinion. However, it was nice seeing, oh, that's O'Neill. Okay, that's Daniel. Right. Oh, they're getting reacquainted again. You've seen that Daniel stayed on Abydos, and it was even from that the first episode that he was even protecting Daniel, trying not to say anything, and then the tissue box, that was such a cute.
Could be blowing their noses right now.
Exactly. It was such a cute moment. So yeah, their relationship is great as well. And I feel bad for Daniel a lot of the times because he's working with the military, and they have way different goals than he does, and he wants to meet people and look at the artifacts and discover new things, and
but why is he actually there?
That's why he's there.
There's a specific reason though why he joined SG-1. What was that specific reason?
Oh, I thought
who's he looking
for? That. Well, I mean, he's looking for his girl. He's looking for Sha're.
Right. He's looking for his wife.
And
that's it.
And I mean, I just know that. Well, I don't know. I'm just hoping that that's going to work out for sure.
That's what I was about to ask you. So you're hoping that that's gonna, because I'm interested in see what the chat picks up on, because we're going through the early arcs here. So you're hoping that how do you think that that's going to be resolved? I'm genuinely curious as someone who's at 207, 208 right now. How do you think that will resolve itself? This is like time travel, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, the episode that gave me hope that it's possible is Thor's hammer, because we met Kendra.
The Kendra, that's exactly right.
That was such like a revealing episode. So I really love that one. It was like reveal on top of reveal. So we learned about there's a Thor and there's aliens that are looked at as the good gods, and we called them the Vikings and all this. So that was like amazing. And then we met Kendra, and she was actually able to influence her Goa'uld, which
that's right.
We learned
she believes that. Yeah, what we know for sure now is that the host. For a while there, the phrase was "nothing of the host survives," and that's used a little bit there. But they are repressed inside. They're staring at themselves across a chasm of a nightmare. And imagine the host is screaming out and can't.
It's like the sunken place.
Yeah, actually. Have you gotten to have you revisited, have you gotten any more of the Asgard story by 208? You have?
I have.
What'd you think? Oh, come on. Gotta tease your Patreon, folks.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you think of the reveal? You've seen...
My patrons loved it. Loved it.
So you know their true nature now.
Yes. And so my community is amazing. And I'm such a nerd for aliens that it's like whenever there's any sort of alien-like creature, I'm always hoping for an alien reveal in an episode, because it's just interesting. We are going to all these different planets. Like I want some aliens, you know what I mean? So they're like, oh, just wait. And
he was a puppet from Outer Limits. And they they adjust. I don't know if they re-engineered them at all for that first one. Would you like to see more of the Asgard?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think, my patrons, they didn't spoil me, but I think I had some pretty good guesses and some really good theories in my head that
Such
correlated when I saw Thor.
I'm not going to yes or no you. I want to hear.
Well, when I saw Thor, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. Well, from the movie, Ra looked very gray alienist to me.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, why are the Asgards, why are they beefing with the Goa'ulds? What could possibly, now it's not hard to have a beef with them, as they're terrible. But
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, well, maybe they took over the Asgards and
Okay.
controlled them and maybe killed a lot of them or something like that.
So
And
Roz and Asgard is what you're saying?
that's what
Okay.
it looked like to me.
Okay.
But I don't know. I know there's a lot of changes from the movie to the series, but when I saw that was something that I had thought about.
Let me ask you this question. If there is no resolution to something, if there is just a change from the movie to the series, would you want me to share that with you, or do you want to just lay in limbo about it for the duration of as long as this thing goes out? I'm curious as to how you would want that handled.
Oh, you could tell me. There's a lot of changes that I think people have told me.
Yeah, he's not an Asgard. So that one of the tweaks from the movie is that Ra came from a dying race, and in the series, that is not the case. That's one of a small handful of things that they left behind, along with Creek Mountain Complex. It's now Cheyenne Mountain, which incidentally does not have a missile silo, and I didn't find that out until like a couple of years ago. So it's little things. It's little things like that. That's one of those things that they just don't address.
Okay.
But that is a perpetual fan theory to this day in some quarters of some people just not willing to let it go, because those kinds of things have to be resolved. The chevrons are red in the show, and they're stone in the movie. That's because production designer Richard Hugh Dolan wanted the color, and little details like that. So. But you can't come to my channel to learn about those kinds of things. So that's just how it is. That's awesome. Yeah. So the Sha're one, let's watch another clip. We got some more to do. Okay. Let's have a look at this next one here.
No. Oh no. Ew.
Hold your fire! Hold your fire!
They're with us!
It could just, y'all, I can't. It can just jump. It could just jump out the gut and get.
So not a fan of snakes, I take it?
No. Or parasitic creatures that jump into your neck. Like,
the Goa'uld were created for the
crazy.
series, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the idea is there in the film, like some sort of parasite looking for a host. And that's So Brad Wright did an alternate cut once season 10 had aired called Children of the Gods Final Cut. And in it, he omitted the scene of the Goa'uld infecting Kowalski, which in hindsight, like, had I had the opportunity to talk to you first, I would have recommended you watch Final Cut, because a lot more pieces would have made sense, even though the Showtime version is the original broadcast version, warts and all. Some of the kooky dialogue and reproductive organs and the inside and certain things like that are there. But that's omitted from the Final Cut, because it's part of the reason was pacing, and a lot of the fans think, well then that didn't happen. No, it did. You just didn't see it happen. And I like it because anyone can be infected. Like, you don't know. So Jaffa go down all the time, and Gould's got to swim, right? So
Right.
that was a pretty wild twist. What'd you think of Kowalski's death?
Oh, that hit me hard. It hit me hard. I'm still not over it. I felt really bad for him. He was one of the characters from the movie, and he carried over, but it was tough. And then the scene with him, and even though it was such a fun line and sweet.
Would you have my
but
stereo?
From Jack,
Can I take your stereo? Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole situation was just sad, and I was really surprised, and maybe this is some things that changed a little later, but he wasn't really aware that he was taken by the Goa'uld, and I was like, I guess it just wasn't activated until it was, and
it's an infant.
Yeah, it's an infant, and I felt really bad for him, and how he had to die was
it was pretty awful. They shut down the gate, and if any part of you is inside the event horizon, it doesn't come out. So it's one of the Rick was so good even this early on. My friend died on the table. And I love that the implication is if someone gets Goulded, we're in trouble. And I'd love to have you back for season 2 to discuss that one, because that one has come to pass for you. But I'm sure when it did, it's like, we're in trouble again, because the last time it didn't work. So there's a lot there. I'm looking forward to already to getting into season 2 with you. Let's take a look at the clip that I showed at the beginning of the episode, where it rears its ugly snake head.
Anybody else on the team experienced these symptoms?
No. Why?
So he doesn't know.
Reaction to gate travel.
Look, Doc, just give me a horse pill for the pain or something. It's a damn headache.
So why is it?
What's this? You didn't notice this?
What? Notice what? Major!
Oh. So it wasn't activated. Oh.
J Astle did an extraordinary job in that episode.
Yes. That was
right.
Yeah, it was just insane to see that. And that whole episode was just, it was hard. It was hard for me. And I did not see, I thought he made it. I thought he made it. And then I learned that there's a husk. I'm like, oh my God, that's just crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot to these things. And they figure that out as the show evolves. They figure the logistics of what's going on inside the body out. And I'm not talking about SG-1 or the SGC. I'm talking about the writers. Like, when you establish a rule, sometimes that rule is one that works well with the stories, and others it's like, that didn't happen. Like Hathor, not everyone is a big fan of Hathor. So I wouldn't be thrilled with the idea of seeing her again necessarily. I could be wrong, but you never know. There's certain things that they have to figure out. Is that there are production changes that take place. One of the executive producers splits at the end of season 3 to go back to LA from Vancouver, and the show evolves in that kind of way. So you want to watch another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
He's in here.
Oh boy.
You cannot change what happened that day, just as I cannot change the day that the Goa'uld destroyed my world. I am showing you it if Charlie is still there. inside you.
Jack? Jack.
The radiation's still low, but I don't know for how long.
We have to go.
Is Sarah O'Neill still here?
Yes.
Goa'uld Lazarus is SG-1's answer to resolving some of the issues from the film. And it is a special show. And it's I had Harley Jane Kozak on, who played Sarah. And she has since had a daughter. And I asked her, I said, and no, she offered it. She said, if I could go and do that scene again when she sees him, I wouldn't have been able to take my eyes off of him. The trauma of losing a child, you would be transfixed on whatever was in front of you, regardless if it was him or not. And she said, I did not know any better then. But a good show.
Amazing. This episode, I think it really captured me because, again, it brought in that story from the movie. Because, I mean, when you think about it, that was a really big thing to kind of just not talk about again. I mean,
That's right.
O'Neill went to Abydos to not come back. And,
It just, you succeed.
Exactly. And so we know why, his son, died. And I'm glad that they gave us this episode because it really got to kind of close off that story in a way, but also give us a little more insight into it as well, because we got more background. And those aliens, they had such high emotional intelligence. And the fact that they wanted to help him, they wanted to heal him, because regardless of what we were seeing for the past like 5 or 6 episodes or something like that before this one came, O'Neill was still struggling with that. And it's, we didn't want to just wash over that like it wasn't a big deal, because he was obviously still struggling with that, because not only did he lose his son, he also lost his relationship with Sarah. And so we got to see that insight. And when we got this moment, when he transformed into him, I was like, oh my God, I can't hold it together. This is a lot. But yeah, I would have a hard time coming back from that, seeing that, whether I was O'Neill or Sarah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And even though he says it's not Charlie, it's like, it's not. What difference does it make it this way? Your heart doesn't respond to that. I was also blown away technically from that scene with the hand transforming that shot. And I asked John Gadetsky, who was the effects supervisor on set at the time, to pull that off. I was like, that was so
how did you do that?
Seamless.
Oh my God. Yes.
They have the ability in a camera to overlay 2 shots at the same time. So they would have filmed the kid first, and then Rick could go in there and match moment for moment the hand point for point, so that when they do the transition, then they rotoscope around his hand. Or they may not even actually have to rotoscope around his hand. It's seamless, so that he could become the child, and that's how that effect is done. But I wondered for years how they pulled that off, because it's perfect.
It's perfect. And it almost like literally captures the essence of the moments.
Yeah.
In the transition, like technically how they did that. it was like they captured the magic itself in that scene.
That's
Literally.
exactly right. Yep, for sure. Let's watch another one.
Rest now. You will leave soon.
Oh boy.
Take your ways with you.
No, wait. You saved us.
Yes.
How?
Our ways.
The rules of acquisition. That's how he did it.
And as the 34th rule of acquisition states, peace is good for business.
That's the 35th rule.
Great callback. It's hard not to
Great.
see him.
Yeah,
You know?
I was like, I couldn't believe it was him. That was
Yeah.
like my first Trek character reveal, and I was like, Armin, what? It's like,
He's the
this is
first.
really, really cool. Like, this is really, really cool, and it's one of the most popular alien beings that we have. So everybody loves the Nox. So
You think so?
yeah, from what
I guess,
what I've
yeah,
heard.
because you have seen Laia come back in yes, the Tolan episode. So
And,
yes,
Enigma.
yes, you're right, Enigma. Thank you, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Absolutely. A note about the crystal aliens that I wanted to touch on briefly. You said they have a high degree of emotional intelligence, and I just want to lay a seed in your head for not even this series, for far into the future. These ones have high emotional intelligence. What if we came across one that was a psychopath? So let's plant that seed, because it's going to be a while before that one comes. I just want that one to be rattling around in your head for the future. And that I am directly quoting Robert C. Cooper, who
Okay.
who does a twist with that, shall we say? So that one's kind of cool. But what? Yeah. So you're a fan of the Nox?
I am a fan of the Nox. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
them. I
no.
think they're cool. I mean, the fact that they're so technologically advanced that they are now somewhat magical. It's
Indistinguishable
know.
to us. Yeah.
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
I mean, just like back in the day, we would think anything that was like technologically superior that we couldn't understand was magic. And so in a sense, to us it seems that way. Because we cannot understand it. I mean, as they say it, we're young.
That's
So
it, exactly. And there are different
yeah.
ways of doing things. Yeah.
Exactly. There's different way of doing things. Hippies, if you will.
That's it. Yeah. Brad Wright. No, I'm not going to get into that. We'll save that for season 2. Let's be sure to bring up the Nox at some point in the future. So
Okay.
let's see another one. Whoops. Buttons, David, buttons.
What the hell is that?
Java.
He could talk.
I am Unas, the
What?
first one.
The first of what?
Not exist.
Kill the human, and we will feast.
Future Sam here. This is the face of me recognizing the voice of the legendary James Earl Jones, but because I knew he would not be in that much special effects makeup, I just completely dismissed it as being him. Not sure why him doing a simple voiceover didn't cross my mind, but here we are, so don't come for me too much in the comments. I simply second guess my first mind per usual. Alright, that's all. Back to the reaction. Bye!
I no longer serve the Goa'uld. We shall see.
Just stay put right there.
Weapons are of no use here.
Come on, get him. He big.
And that's something you'll never in your life hear a woman say.
I'd never listened to this scene with headphones on. You're like whispering in one ear. That was really cute. I love that. Now that's a good idea. I'm saving that one for the future. That's cool. Yeah, I know. The first one is dead. I watched it for the first time. I did not know it was James Earl Jones at all. So,
Oh, really?
very, very cool. No, yeah. I mean, I had overlooked the fact that his name was had appeared in the credits. I wasn't looking. I was 14 when I saw this. I was not looking for those kinds of things. So, but
That's
what a
true,
great,
that's true.
what a coup. That was a favor on behalf of, I think it was Michael Greenberg. I think
Oh.
yeah. And he and Christopher Judge had crossed paths. And if you'd like, that is a story that I have in clip form that I can share with you.
Oh,
Because
please.
Christopher, there is a very specific note that Christopher took from James Earl Jones that exists in Teal'c, a very prominent one. And I will send that to you because let's just say less is more. So.
Okay, got it. I mean, one legendary voice actor to another.
Right.
Yeah, I was recently watching some gameplay and I heard a voice and I said, "Oh my God, is that Teal'c?" And he was Kratos.
That's right.
I was like, "Oh wow, okay, that's awesome."
That's it. Sonny had a great deal of sway in determining who was going to play Kratos because this was the other guy that Sonny was going to be on set with the entire run of God of War and its sequel. But at the same time, the producers of God of War were huge Stargate fans. And Chris said you would not, and he will never reveal just how much time was spent going back and forth on whether or not Kratos would say even one indeed, which becomes his signature line later on in the show. He hasn't really said it yet, but that's what he's known for. Like they couldn't decide, is he going to say one or is he going to say none? And they eventually did, but it had to land right, and they were, and even Christopher wasn't, a couple of years after SG-1 ended, he wasn't getting work without being recognized for Teal'c, and he resented that. And once he got Kratos, and he had a chance to step back from Teal'c and inhabit this other character, he began to have a different perspective. Thinking back on, he had a great time on SG-1, but in terms of his attachment to the character, and it was Kratos that really let Christopher fall in love with Teal'c again. And it's one of the reasons that I've gotten a chance to know him so well, because we produced a series together for an online version of MGM, retrospective interviews. Yeah, it's called Dialing Home, and it was a part of Stargate Command, which was you pay for access to this thing, like $20 a year. You got a free T-shirt. You got access to Stargate Origins, the film that they were working on, and all kinds of things. It was a great period of my life. So.
Wow, you're a big deal.
Nah, I'm not. I'm a nobody, but it was a cool project. So let's take a look at another one.
He's not really gone. Is he going to have to make his own way back? Because they said they're not going back there. Oh. Whoop. Alien.
Daniel Jackson. You?
Are they underwater?
Yes.
It's giving old Greg. I'm old Greg.
Who are you? I'm old Greg. Pleased to meet you.
You ever drank Baileys from a shoe?
Okay, what does that mean? I don't understand the reference. Please help me.
So the clip the clip that I inserted was this character named Old Greg, and it was like this viral like show. I can't even remember what it came on, but it was just everywhere at the time and super viral, maybe from like 15 years ago. I'm not really sure, but old Greg, he's this monster, this old swamp monster man that lives in the sea, and he loves the funk, and he drinks Baileys from a shoe, and he wants to know if you love him.
Jeez. There you go, man. Hey, absolutely. So is a part of your shtick like looking for aliens? Is that why you had the DiCaprio meme?
Well, I whenever I see them, I'm excited. So as soon as I saw them, that's my first thought. And the crazy thing is with the memes, people are like, how do you even come up with the memes? And I'm like, I don't. I just record and then I watch it, and
they arrive.
If the spirit of a meme hits me and it comes to my mind, then I go looking for it and I put it on there. And if it fits, I keep it.
That's it. If shoe fits, drinking out of it or no. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've actually seen that actor before in SG-1 earlier on. Does it ring any bells? The voice? They are the touched. They live in the land of the dark.
Oh my God, that's him?
That's Tuplo.
What?
Yes, my lord. Yeah. Gerard Plunkett. Yep.
Wow.
Right?
Okay, that's cool.
Good makeup job.
Yeah. Yes, that's really cool. And I mean, it's tough to sit there and get all that makeup on, but
that's it. So yeah, I mean, you put makeup on for this show. There's no makeup here. I mean, it's tough regardless. So
yeah, but I know it's hard to do that. So this takes a special kind of actor to do that. I mean, shout out to Jeffrey Combs. He's done it a million times on Trek. So we appreciate it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Man. The next episode that you picked is my favorite from season 1, and it is my favorite Teal'c episode. Okay. So let's have a look.
You don't know him. He's peaceful. Tell him you're peaceful, Teal'c.
It is true.
He lies. I know him.
How?
What you mean?
This Jafar killed my father.
That look.
Okay.
We interrupt this program to bring you the Stages of Grief, presented by Model on Screen.
I don't believe it. No Teal'c slander will be tolerated here. Okay? So you're gonna have to prove it. Even though it could possibly very much so be true. I mean, he was a Jafar, so you know what I'm saying? But I'm still with Teal'c. Okay, the MVP. Okay, he's the MVP. Yeah.
You would save those who wish to kill you?
I would save those who deserve to live.
I made a mistake. My memory was faulty. You are not the same man as he who murdered my father.
I am the one.
No. That Jafar is dead.
Shut up, dude.
You have killed him. I suggest you take your friend home.
Yay! I'm so glad it turned out this way.
We would appreciate that.
Good job, Teal'c.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Teal'c.
Love this episode. It's
such a good one.
A good one. Not to say that Teal'c, I don't want to diminish your expectations of Teal'c episodes going forward, but sooner or later, this was bound to happen. And the writer for this episode, a guy by the name of Tom J Astle, came on Dial the Gate, and we had it is a model episode, in my opinion, of a show that I would love to have with one-off writers, because we talked for an hour in depth about this hour of television. And this is easily in my top 5 of episodes that I've done, because
Wow.
like he goes through Hanno's perspective. Like SG-1 brings everything to bear in attempting to defeat him in their court of law or its nearest equivalent, and he counters them point for point, rationally with a cool head. And if there's, I may just have to send that one to you, because it's pretty self-contained. That interview. It's Tom J Astle, folks, and I don't know the number exactly off of my head. You know what? I have got Google, so let me see here. Dial, because it's a good one. It is episode
definitely want to see that.
267. It's a great script, and it's one of those things where Teal'c was willing to die just to settle this one slight. And don't get me wrong, it's a big one, but it is one in things where he has said he has done far worse. What did you think of Cor-Ai?
I loved Cor-Ai. You know, Teal'c is my fave, so a Teal'c centered based episode I'm all here for. And this one was just shocking to me because I didn't expect it to go in the direction it did. I mean, it turned really quick into being I was like, okay, this is a court-based episode, like defend
That's
yourself. Right. And we've seen those before.
Yep.
And I was so proud of Teal'c because it really just showed the reason why I love him as a character this far into the series. He is such a noble person. And he honorable, exactly. And he was really willing to make the sacrifice to, you know, pay penance, to make up for what he did. And we were all trying to just get, you know, break him out or, you know, fight for him not to be killed. And I get it. We don't want to see Teal'c die, but his way was the right way. And him just actually sitting to go through it, to take responsibility for what he did and to not deny it, that was the right way. And ultimately that is what got him, you know, out of it. And it just shows why we love Teal'c so much. And the acting, the scene.
Oh my God.
The
scene with the two of them in the courtroom when they're alone.
Oh my God. That was
why
like,
are you doing this?
Yes, why are you doing this? But one, the lip quiver, it was good. But then when the conversation, it was like O'Neill was talking to Teal'c, but it was like he was trying to defend himself as well. Like if you look at the dialogue, it's like he's having an internal dialogue with himself saying, well, I've done bad things. I've done things that match up and line up to what Teal'c has done. I've done things for my country.
And I've been forced to do some damn distasteful things. I will not allow them to sacrifice my friend.
Yes, exactly. And he was having an internal battle with himself, like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm responsible for the things that I've done. It's not orders, you know, I've done things too. And you could see it happening in his mind, and the acting in that was just amazing. It was amazing.
Do you know why you feel that way so strongly about O'Neill in that? It is secretly an O'Neill episode, according to the writer.
Really?
Because Tom was using Teal'c as a lever for O'Neill confronting his demons to what he has done. So in reality, beneath the surface, according to Tom Astle, it's O'Neill who's on trial with himself, dealing with this. Because if Teal'c has to accept responsibility for the damn distasteful things, so does Jack.
Yeah, and I got that in that scene.
That's exactly right. That's why it's a brilliant hour of TV. Also, interestingly, the Byrsa were once technological. They abandoned technology and became something more pure again. It was a B or a C plot that was cut for time. I don't even think that they shot it. They may have, where Daniel's walking around the village, and he sees remnants of what could be arguably an old radio, like a Byrsa radio. And he's like, what is this? Well, we're using it to cook out of. We don't know. They lost it over time, but the ideas of their society, of the agrarian society, stayed. Because they were once technological. It was very much akin to Devil's Due, one of my favorite episodes of TNG, Ardra's planet, Ventax 2. Except they were far more technological. They didn't regress to that level of an agrarian base after they abandoned their industries. But it's the same kind of idea. It's just a great episode.
Yeah, that's a really cool. I wish they would have kept that.
It was not. There wasn't enough time. Yeah.
Yeah. It adds another layer to it, but yeah.
Yep. And there's actually, the show does not have, they're called tags. The show does not have tags very often where we go back to Earth and we have the, what did we learn from our experience episode? There are a ton of them in Trek. There are very, very few in Stargate. Often when the climax is resolved, it cuts. There's a couple of lines, there's a few, one or two small beats, and then it ends. So be prepared for that. But there was I'll let folks go and watch Tom Astle, and I'll send it to you as well, because he explains the conversation that the two of them have in the tag when they're back at SGC. And I think Teal'c's were in the med bay recovering. Yeah. And they have a because he's still beat up from his injuries. He took a shot for those folks. So are you good on time?
I'm good.
All right, let's watch more. We're getting there.
What if there's a second Stargate here? What if this energy surge caused the wormhole to jump from one Stargate to another here?
On Earth?
Yes.
Teal'c, would the Goa'uld have put more than one Stargate?
What?
If the first became lost to them, it is possible.
But remember, the one that Ra put here might not have been the first. The Goa'uld didn't build the Stargate system.
Well, then where is it?
What? No. Wait, what does that mean? Wait, are they on Earth? Oh, maybe they're on Earth. And they're on Earth. That's why they can't dial to Earth, because they're on Earth. Stop. No. That's gotta be it. Oh, that's gotta be it.
Cold. I know. You can sleep now.
Sam, come on. She's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
As is Colonel O'Neill. Let's get them in the chopper.
You came through the Stargate for us.
Not exactly, Captain.
Gate number 2. We got a second gate. You got a second gate.
What happens when you dial your own phone number? Wrong person to ask. What happens when you dial your own phone number?
You know, such a funny line. But what a great episode. I mean, the reveals are like the best part. And I did not see that coming. I mean, the whole time I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? Why? Where are we? And how are we going to find them? And
why is it not working?
Why is it not working?
Yeah.
And for them to be on Earth the whole time, like crazy. But then the funny part is when Sam goes up there and she's like, it's a nice planet.
That's right.
I'm like, you would think that. And then it gave me a perspective of, well, anywhere we go, wherever we land or pop up, we would think the whole place is like this. But realistically, our planet is different in all different hemispheres. So in all different continents. So why would it be different on a different planet?
That's right. But you're only dealing with the locals, and generally speaking, the locals are far less technologically advanced. So we don't really deal with a lot farther afield. There are some episodes though where we do. So it's a fantastic point for sure. So what do you think about the nature of the Stargates and where they came from? What are your thoughts on that? I guess part of that is, what do you know at this point? Because I'm trying to remember up to 208, all of that lining up. So
Well, one of my other theories that I had when we got the Thor reveal was, I mean, we know that this technology is not the Goa'uld's.
That's correct.
So, I mean, that Asgardian that Asgardian ship, that it showed up really quickly when it needed to.
The Beliskner, yes.
And I just thought that maybe one of the reasons, if my raw theory wasn't correct, that the Goa'uld stole all their tech, and that's
So you
why
think the
they're
Stargate is
upset.
Asgard?
Yeah,
It's possible.
that was my other theory. My theory was either they came and possessed a lot of their people, and that's why they were upset, or they stole their tech. Maybe they were friendly to them at some point, or thought they were friendly, and they came to their planet and took all their tech. That was my other theory.
Okay, that's a very astute observation. We will absolutely see, but that may not be the last time you see Antarctica. So, or the Beta Stargate, as it's called, because now we have two of them, and as you can imagine, that comes with its own strategic advantages, and it can be very dangerous with another one. So,
Okay,
especially
I really hope so. I thought that was such a cool addition, a second
Right?
gate. I mean, that was such a cool thing to add to the storyline, because why wouldn't there be multiple gates? That makes sense. You know what I mean? And yeah,
If one had
different
become
time
lost.
period. If one had become lost, build another or move another. So that was cool. And one of the things about this episode that a lot of people brought up, and I didn't even think about, but why didn't Sam just dial a safe planet to another gate?
Dialing
That
home
made me
had
think.
never been a problem before. So it wouldn't have occurred to her that dialing a different planet. Also, she's recognizing that this thing is very old. It's actually one of the oldest Stargates in the entire network. So she's right about that.
Okay.
Eventually this DHD will die. Its power cell is so old. So when you have a chance to dial a loved one, are you really going to take a shot dialing someone that you're not that close to when you're in a life or death situation?
That's true.
But I
Especially
see what
she
you're
was
saying.
thinking, especially she's thinking, well, I may not have that much power left. I may only have this one, maybe two chances to actually dial to this place. So
That's it.
let me dial home.
That's it.
That makes sense.
The Stargate has its own capacitor. It has a crystalline interior for memory storage, but it also has the ability to gather power from a number of different sources, including sunlight. But it's under the ground, and so there's no way for them to charge it. You might be able to hook it up to a car and rev it for a really long time. That might work, but there's no way to get it charged. So it has a couple of jumps, and then that's it. That's the DHD can also power it to a degree, but if the DHD is just as old, you're dealing with something that's just not going to last. So I could go on and on talking about Stargate theory, because one of the things that's actually really interesting about the show is it occasionally has episodes, as you would expect, where the plot is intrinsically linked to how the Stargate works. Rob Cooper talked about the fact that early on, when they were doing the show, there were a lot of questions out there in terms of the audience, in terms of what does the Stargate do? And they had to make it clear pretty soon the things that it did do and the things that it didn't do. And it wasn't a time portal, it was a space portal. And so you would go in real time to another part of the galaxy or another part of the universe. And but if it does have issues, when they do introduce other things that it does, and it will eventually do other things, it had to be because of certain reasons. They were very careful when saying, okay, if we're going to let it do this, if we're going to do this for this story, it now does that permanently going forward. And not only that, but it has to make sense considering what we've already done.
Yeah, and Sam kind of explained that a little bit in there, but for the grace of God as well.
That's right.
Because we were talking about
never
how
seen it go alternate dimensions.
Exactly, and so she explained it to give us that framework of no, this is how it actually works.
That's it, exactly. I don't know if we have a clip from. I don't think we do, but what did you think of There Before the Grace of God? What did you think of Catherine coming back and what did you think was going on?
I immediately guessed alternate reality. I was like,
Okay.
Mirrorverse.
Yeah,
Mirrorverse.
exactly. No one's in
episode.
mustaches though, so.
No, and I did see the scar on O'Neill, and I was like, oh, Scar, evil O'Neill, but he wasn't.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, that's actually an RDA scar. I forget what episode they give it. It's, I think that they've done it by now. Maybe it's in season 2, but that's I think a hockey injury, and they've always filled it in until they get to a certain episode. And we're like, okay, this is the one where he gets the scar, and so then they allow him to wear it for the rest of the show. But yeah, someone asked you. Dinner Beef wants to know, Sam, what did you think of the way SG-1 did the clip show with Ronnie Cox, Captain Jellicoe? What'd you think?
Yes.
Wasn't he good?
I definitely recognized him. I was like, I know him. I know him from Star Trek. I know him. But so I made it clear I'm not a fan of clip episodes. For me, I'm just like, you're showing me stuff I've already seen. Let's get to more of the plot point. And I said that. But the writers, they did amazing with this episode because they really gave us a storyline. I mean, it fit directly into like a whole serial story that we were already in. So it fit perfectly. And then, when they bring in the government shills, they really hit us with
we lose.
Yeah, every single time. And so I immediately was like, I don't like him. I know he's not, he doesn't have our back.
He doesn't like us.
And when you don't like a character, they're doing their job. That means they wrote them really well. And that actor, he does amazing with not liking
Ronnie
him
Cox.
as a character.
No,
Ronnie Cox.
Rulers, Dictators of Mars, Dick Jones. It doesn't matter. He's RoboCop. He's the villain, the arch villain RoboCop. There's a lot there to mine with Ronnie Cox, and Senator Kinsey was just a favorite. And looking back, you're right. Politics is part 2 of a 4-part story. There Before the Grace of God. Politics.
Yep.
Within the Serpent's grasp and the Serpent's lair. And that's not the only time that Stargate will do that, which is one of the advantages that they had when they started production. They had a 4-season order from Showtime. They had 80 episodes, and before I think the first shot went to camera, they had a 5th season order. So that was that was very strange. So they had the ability to really give a gradual. We're Americans here. They could do a gradual progression of downs, and then touchdown. This is awesome. So as an audience, we really got to relish in that, and it works, because politics, it should be, boring as hell, but the stakes are so high, and at the end of it, we lose. So we come away really licking our wounds from that and being like, we did see some clips. It was a clip show, but it was, you're exactly right. The plot was there, and that's how you do a good clip show.
The plot was there. It was its own story within itself, and we got introduced to another character. So they did a really, really good job.
Absolutely. Don wants to know, have you begun learning or understanding any of the Goa'uld language yet? Still pretty early days for you.
No, not really. I definitely want to get into it. I mean, do you mean like the Jaffa Cree?
Cree.
Yeah. Stuff like that. I use some of those terms. I've been saying them when I hear them, for sure.
What do you think Cree means?
I have no idea.
You can kind of infer. Jaffa, Kree.
Maybe. I have no idea.
It means a lot of things, but one of them is attention.
Is it like a call to action?
It is not a call to. It's a no, not necessarily. It means like 5 or 6 different things, but it really is. Hey, I'm talking to you. That's its chief thing. And it also just means, it can mean be still. They're very flexible with Kree. But there's a great scene coming up at some point here about Kree. So and I won't spoil who it's but yes, it technically does. It also means Yoo-hoo. So awesome. Let's have another look at another clip, if that's cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty.
A new Goa'uld.
Tell hold, Jaffa.
Apophis.
I will rejoin you as we come out of the shadows.
Punk ass.
For I follow all orders of my son, as if they were my own.
Okay, so we got a new one.
The mighty warrior, Corel.
So another young one like Ra.
Let's just sit on that for a minute. What's going through your head?
Just hurt. I can't believe it. Like, because it's like, all right, I automatically in my mind, I'm like, we're gonna have to take him out.
Dude,
I didn't
keeps
really
on
see
boning us with just the daggers in, and he's just twisting.
Yeah, and the relationship between O'Neill and Skaara, you know, to me, it's almost like a son-father relationship, the way I see it. And so,
put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. I picked that. You did not pick this one for me. I picked this one. So let's see where this goes. Well, I mean, we know where this goes, but I mean for you.
No.
Carry a box. Redneck. Cor-Ai.
No. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is messed up.
Called him his son. That's sick.
I think Jack agrees with you.
In the shoulder or something? Are you serious? No.
Ania. Oscar. I'm sorry.
oh, it sucks. Oh, it sucks.
So pray
bad.
continue.
Yeah, it's like, how much more can Jack take? Does he have to keep reliving these same sort of experiences? And I'm like, why did Jack have to be the one that had to shoot? It's like,
that's not the last time that happens either. To that scenario.
Yeah, it's
the
just
answer
terrible.
is Sam, because
no.
From a writer perspective, it's just it has to be him.
Yeah.
And that will not be the last time that I say that to you on this channel if we do more of these. There is it's storytelling, but B, it's good storytelling. And there are times in life where, whether we like it or not, we do say, why me? And the answer is because you exist.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where good storytelling really fills in a lot of those moments of lack of meaning in life, because life is sometimes just shit.
Yeah, especially for Jack.
That's it.
That was
Heck of
that
an
was a
ending.
hard one. Heck of yeah. Amazing. I mean, I love this episode as well. The reveal of it being Skaara, the ickiness of him saying my son, Poff is saying that, just a lot. And even the scene where Scar comes through the first time,
Yes.
and he's
It's
like,
possible.
yeah, he's like, okay, he's still there. You can break through. That gave me the hope with, the whole Kendra thing. And then
That's right.
also with Sha're. So I'm like, it's
But
possible.
he's lost in a nightmare.
Exactly. And when he's like, are you still my friend? Like, oh my God.
Can you forgive us for what we're about to do?
Yeah, can you forgive us? Yeah.
He knows where he's going.
Yeah, he knows. So it's like he's aware of everything. And I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. A little fun fact for you. Skaara was not meant to survive the collision of the motherships.
No, he's the only one we have from the movie.
I mean, Sha're is still out there. Kasuf is still potentially out there.
Well, actor-wise.
That's true. So,
yeah.
What they did, Brad talked about this in a special feature where effects saved them, in that they had planned to kill Skaara with the destruction of the motherships hitting one another. I don't know if they shot the footage or not. He may have died off screen. But what happened was Brad and company looked at a lot of the feedback online. And they were like, we can't kill him off. We should not do this. This is not a good... Even that early on, they were seeing it. And they had a shot of Alexis against a blue screen, and they composited him in with Peter Williams in the rings, and that is how Skaara lived.
Oh, well, I'm glad they did that, because
absolutely,
yeah, killing Skaara, not a good idea.
That's
not
it.
a good idea.
Skaara eventually comes back in an episode that was for a long time my favorite in the canon. A long time. Written by a writer named Catherine Powers, who was a friend of mine before we lost her. So there is, there's some good Stargate heading your way for sure. So, and you also find out who else. There's another ally who's on board. So the ship, certain very, very old Jaffa. So you already saw that.
Yes, so, yes.
Very cool. So
yes, I love him too. Our friend Braytac.
Amendola, Master Braytac.
Yes.
This has been a treat, Sam. I hope you have enjoyed this. Any takeaways for season 1?
I am just enjoying the ride. I'm loving the journey. And honestly, I'm excited that there's so many seasons and movies. And this community has been absolutely amazing. They have embraced me. And I just appreciate it. I'm loving the show, loving the characters, loving the story so far. So I just cannot wait to see where it goes. Everyone's telling me when I get to like season 3, it really takes off. So I cannot wait to see that. But for now, I am definitely enjoying myself.
My favorite season is 4. There's just, and a lot of reasons that this is similar to Star Trek Voyager's 4th season is my favorite. Shows really, everyone has like their favorite season for sure. But there's some banger episodes in 3. You are in season 2 holds arguably one of the most important scenes in the entire franchise. I put out a survey a few weeks ago because Joel Goldsmith, the composer, Jerry Goldsmith's son, who composed the Star Trek anthem from Motion Picture and went into Next Generation. He this episode coming up for you is one of my favorite is probably my favorite movement of his from SG-1. And it's a species theme. You've already heard it. You probably didn't pay attention to it because it's very subtle. But there's an episode coming up very soon that is I asked Fandom, I said, what's like the single most important scene in the franchise? And it's coming up for you fairly soon. And once you hit it, if you think you found it, message me and let me know what you think about it, because it's one of those things where I've always said Stargate is chicken soup. It is profound. It is human, and it makes us get in touch with the best parts of ourselves, and it makes us stare into the abyss of our souls sometimes as well. And when the abyss stares back, it's not necessarily a good thing because you can get lost, you can lose yourself in it. But there's some good Stargate coming your way. I'm really excited for you. You are sitting in front of the Christmas tree, my dear, and you've only just unwrapped one of your gifts, and you've got a lot of gifts to go. So I'm really excited for you. And this was great, Sam. This was really cool.
Thank you. It was so nice meeting you and talking to you today. I cannot wait to see the episode that you're talking about. Like, you might just have to tell me which one so I can just be.
No, I'm not.
Like, no.
Not gonna happen.
Well,
because I didn't see it coming.
Okay.
So you're a smart girl. There were a couple that I added. There are some. Track is being put down in front of this moving train, and your instincts are dead because you're a Star Trek, so you get it. You have an appreciation for more than average complex storytelling. There is a world that's being unveiled here. There is there are races with hundreds upon thousands upon millions of years of history. The Stargate in Antarctica is millions of years old. So it's been there for quite a while. It's been there through ice shifts, through countless. When the Stargate was originally there, Antarctica was a jungle. So it's been subsumed and spat back out, and there's a lot there. Literally and figuratively, and you're just at if I may quote a character, I will tell you this: your journey is just beginning. So, and I'm privileged to have you come on and share this first chapter with us, and I can't wait to sit down with you and talk about the second one, because there's gonna be a lot, particularly about this. There's gonna be a lot to mine and to talk about. So.
This has been great.
This has been great. How often do you watch? Wait.
So I try to do 1 to 2 episodes a week that I watch. Okay. So that's why the patrons have it earlier. Yep. But I'm hoping to get done with season 2 maybe by like June-ish, something like that. So if I can get done
2 per week, yeah.
Well, on Patreon I'll be done, so we can probably come on here and talk about it then. On YouTube.
I want the Okay, I'll leave this. I'll let it be your call, because this is a business for you, and this is your strategy. But I really, yeah. Okay, I want it to be fresh. So you tell me when you're going to hit it, and we'll have you back, because I can't wait to hear your thoughts as soon as you let me know once you've wrapped up with the season 2 finale, and we will schedule it in advance, because you can plan that out. One of the great things about the way that you're doing it is you're not binging, and so you have the time and the ability to process the images that are being thrown at you. And the show is going to stick for you far more than it will someone who's just mowing it down on Netflix. So it will mean to you what it meant to me, and what it meant to many of us as we watched it on the air, because you'll have the time to properly digest the ideas, the thoughts, the quotable moments, and the music, and all of it. And there's something to be said for what you're doing in the terms of uh, taking your time with, because people don't these days. We're all, everything is McDonald's culture. And so it's really cool that you've set this thing aside and it's like, this is going to be sacred time. We're going to spend our time with it. We're going to set it aside once it's done. Oh my God, I don't know what happened. We'll find out next week, folks. And that's just how you're going to do it. And that's cool.
Yeah. And I am a recovering binge watcher. Stargate has definitely paced me, and I have appreciated it because I don't have any friends that are as nerdy as me and love sci-fi and all that stuff. So I don't have anybody to talk to about all of this stuff. The closest person I have is my mom. I get my love of sci-fi from her. She's the first Trekkie. Her man is Kirk, James T. Kirk. So
where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Is she here in the States?
She's in the States. She's in California. She's
in Cali
now.
Yeah. Well, hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
I definitely get it from her, but for sure, I have been pacing myself. Being able to have conversations about each one of the episodes is amazing for me, because sometimes other people will pick up on things that I didn't pick up on myself. And even though I am watching it, I'm still editing the episodes. So
that's right.
I'm getting to see things over and over that, typically you wouldn't. So it's just been amazing. It's been amazing.
Let me ask you this. Have you gotten to the end of one and been like, yet, and I'm interested to see if this happens to you in season 2. Have you gotten to the end of one and been like, I want to watch this again?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes.
Or have you, yes, I've had the instinct, but I haven't had the time?
Several of them. The finale episode, I watched it again.
Yeah.
The Cold Lazarus one, I watched it again. The enemy, several of them, honestly.
Okay.
Several of them.
Okay.
And it's very easy for me because I'll watch it and then I'll say, let me just hurry up and get this on Patreon. And then I'll watch it again because I'm like, okay, this was good.
Okay.
I need to kind of watch it and see, what did I miss? You know what I mean? Like
the other thing about it is, there's a character who says at one point, cameras don't just film things; they change what they're filming simply by being there. It's a line from the show. A very important character to me, and it's true. What you are doing, I don't think I could do. Like when SG-4 comes out, a lot of folks have already asked me, "You going to watch it live with us?" And I pick my nose, I scratch myself, it's like, I don't know if I could sit there and do that, because I would know that I was being, in that case, it would be real time. I would know that I was being watched and I couldn't let myself go in it. And on top of that, you are a brand, you're creating content, you are fully on that entire time that you're producing this thing. And it's not like you're faking any gestures or anything like that, but you have to be aware that you're on. And I do prefer to watch a show that makes me sit up and take notice rather than sit back and unplug my brain. I watch television to plug in, like this, a movie like Annihilation or Arrival. Oh my God, I'm plugged in. But I don't know if I could be on camera for that. That's where you and I differ. I don't think I could do it. That's tough.
Yeah, it's easy for me. Like I said, I don't really have. It would be nice to share that with other people and sit down and watch these shows with other people, but I don't have that. But when I am recording, I literally treat the camera as my whole community of people. And I always say we're watching it together. And that's how I feel. Several times I'll look like, are you seeing this? Because that's the feeling that I'm having. But I keep it as authentic as possible on the camera. I curse. You showed the clip. I cry. and it's different. I've never done this before. I've done content in other ways, just kind of like beauty content, but nothing like this where I'm actually reacting to something. So it's new for me, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and it just feels like I'm watching a show with a whole community of friends, literally.
Do you have a Patreon tier that allows them to watch as you watch in real time?
Not the show, but I do have a Patreon tier where I do episode reviews. So once the episode's up, sit down, get on, talk about the episode, especially like the big reveal, big lore episodes. And we do watch parties for other things like movies and stuff that we've already seen. We're doing TOS right now. We're going to go through all of Trek. So we do watch parties for that, and we have a lot of fun.
Until you're 50, yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, I mean, yeah. If I were in your position, I would consider setting up a tier, because I know there are a few in my audience who would probably pay to watch it in real time. We have a sister channel called Wormhole X-Tremists. And I have a couple of gals one from London and one from Perth, Australia. And we do rewatches of the show. And right now we're at SG-1 season 8 and Atlantis season 1. And we do 2 a week. And it's a big party of us and 50 people. And the advantage of that is we're not on camera, but we are, like our voices are. And so the chat feed, they're kind of, and they and us, we're kind of the peanut gallery. And if something interesting comes along that they have to say, we're in a position where we can submit that on there. But this is a very different format because this is all you. But in terms of like letting folks see you in real time, watch this thing, obviously it would have to be another consideration, because you would have to be like, okay, I don't have time to do this one now. I can put this off another night. Whereas, with that, it would be, okay, I've set this time for whatever it might like, ahead of time, either consistently or, hey guys, it's going to be here. You miss it, you miss it. But there are options. So, and you're just getting started with this thing. So see how it
that's
goes.
something I can definitely consider. The only thing is I would just want to be in the chat, and I wouldn't want the chat to distract me from.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't want it. You would need a mod. You wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to have it on. You would need a moderator. So there are those Stargate fans who would. But no, this has been great. Anything else that you want to bring up before we let you go? Anything else that I missed? This was a great conversation. I just want to hit all the points that you wanted to cover.
No, I think we pretty much got into, the gist of everything. This has been great, and I absolutely want to do this again. If we can do this for every season, that would be great. I would love to do this
for every season.
So, maybe even like, oh my God, this episode was amazing. Let's talk about it.
Okay. All right.
But
I resend my previous thought. Okay. When you finish with the 5th race, schedule it so that you and I can immediately come on and talk. So
okay,
let me know when that's going to be. Well, I showed that clip from the episode that we just saw of the of Ernest Littlefield and Catherine Langford, and the pedestal and the carvings on the wall. Remember the one within the molecules on the ceiling?
Yes.
You just saw the Torment of Tantalus.
The Torment of Tantalus, yeah.
How many pillars? How many alien languages were there?
Were there 7?
Were represented? There were 4.
There were 4. I called that the Federation of Planets.
It is very United Nations of the Stars is what Ernest called it.
United Nations of the Stars.
So you plot these out, and I will put it on the board here. And when you finish with the 5th race, give yourself about 10 minutes to digest it, and then come on and we'll talk.
Okay, let's do it.
Episode.
That's the episode. All right, I'm looking forward to it. That's in season 2, right? Okay. Ooh, I'm excited.
Yep. So you're doing it 2 a week. You're probably going to hit it within a month, around there. So let's plan on that. We'll put a pin in it, and I'll see you then, and we'll just talk about that one. And then we'll come back and after some hippie adventures and some other shenanigans, we'll have you back for the end of season 2. So I'll see you next for the 5th race. That sound good?
That sounds good.
Where can we find you on Patreon?
You can find
what's
me
your handle?
Patreon.com/modelonscreen. You can find me there. Sign up for any one of the tiers or just a free member. We have so much fun over there. So if you guys are interested,
Braytech is my babe. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Please say again.
No, you're good. Braytech is back, baby.
Oh, yeah, back, baby.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh,
and,
I see. I thought I saw Braytech is my babe. Oh my God.
I love Braytech though.
So do I.
You're
I
good,
guess.
You're good. We're on
Freudian slip.
No, you're good. We're on season 2, episode 8 so far. And any Firefly fans, I have started that as well. So you can head over there and start the series with me before I post the first premiere episode on YouTube.
Awesome, Sam. What do you think of Firefly?
Firefly is great. I can't wait to see what the community is like, but the little bit that I'm getting in regards to the story for River and Simon is really good. It's really good. And I have some theories about that as well.
I've only seen it once, and it's been, 20 years. I think I'm due for a rewatch with that. I want to show it to my folks. It's a brilliant show, and there's several Firefly cast who make their way into Stargate.
That's fun.
One is a main cast member.
I love Gina Torres. That's my girl.
She is good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her and Alan were fantastic on A Leaf on the Wind.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. I ship them, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. She's married.
No? Oh.
No, she's married.
Gina, yeah, okay. That's true. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will agree to meet for 5th race, and you let me know when you've got that organized, and we will make it happen. So the information for your YouTube page is in the description below, along with the Patreon. And this has been a treat. I apologize for taking so long to respond to your initial message. The SG-4 the news after that came out was I was kind of caught in the middle of it. So I was sending out messages to people, and it's like, oh yeah, I do need to get back to that. Yeah. So thank you for being patient with me.
No worries. I was just shocked. I saw this message, then I went to your page, and I was like, he wants to talk to me? What?
He does. Absolutely.
I'm like,
had you known about Dial the Gate beforehand?
I hadn't. And, I try to avoid anything Stargate related.
That's it.
It pops up in my feeds, and I'm like, oh, no, please. No. Yeah. And so I didn't know anything about it, and I saw your page, and I was like, oh God, I want to watch this interview. Then I was like, I can't, because I'm more than likely going to get spoiled.
Well, that's the thing. To borrow from Stargate, you don't want Dial the Gate to pop into your Fron. Fron means head.
Yeah.
But this is cool.
I can't wait to actually be able to watch some of your stuff, though, because I am very interested.
Other than me advising certain things, like certain clips you can watch, like you can ask me about something, and if I have a piece of information that's isolated that I can share with you, all of our episodes do have chapters now, so I can send you this and say, just watch chapter X. But
okay,
I don't. You're not going to be able to watch my show.
Yeah.
You're just not, because I'm dragging and dropping information from subject to subject as we go along to contextualize it for the audience who's watched 354 episodes, and you just can't. It's full of landmines.
Yeah.
Because we really want to protect that innocence of coming upon something and being surprised by it when you don't want to fake it. That's the genuine nature of what you're doing is one of the reasons people are tuning in. So
Exactly.
yeah.
They want to relive that first time watch experience.
That's right.
Through me.
I had that experience. I felt that way. Or, oh, she didn't get the reaction that I got. Or that's an interesting. I didn't take it that way. So that's what's your show is kind of like time travel. So
yeah.
Do you know who Fail Whale is?
No, who's that?
So he was
Actor?
another SG-1 Reacts on YouTube, and he had gotten up to season 10 of SG-1 and season 3 of Atlantis, and then he was just gone. We don't know what happened to him. He quit in the middle of those 2 seasons. I've had him on the show once. I've never been able to get a hold of him. I've emailed him. None of us knows what happened to him. So I'm thrilled that you've come along to kind of pick up that mantle from my side of things so that I can have a conversation with someone, especially someone much earlier on as we get ready for this new series coming out. So this will be a nice refresher for folks who are on a similar journey to come back and watch episodes with you, either here as in review form, or if they've got more time to go over with you and explore it in your Patreon and on YouTube, because on Wormhole X-Tremists, we are not for the first timers. Like, we pull out all the lore. So stay away from Nicole and Evie and me for sure.
Okay, I will.
Majorly. So
I will stay away for now.
Thank you. This has been a real treat. So,
thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out, and I just appreciate this conversation, and I can't wait for our next meeting.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate being appreciated, and I'm really looking forward to talking about the 5th race. You got it out of me. I'm going to wrap up the show on this side. You're welcome to stick around or head out, whatever you need to do, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You take care of yourself. Sayonara.
You too. Bye.
Bye now. That was Samantha Pierce, aka Model on Screen. That is her handle on YouTube and on Patreon, and the links are in the description below for all of that. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. This was a real treat. My tremendous thanks to Lockwatcher and Enigma, our mods for this episode. Mod Captain Lockwatcher, Anthony's in there as well. Thank you, Lockwatcher, for the time codes. This has been so cool. We have moments in our lives that mean a lot to us, and a lot of mine is with television, for better or for worse. It's just the case as an only child, and there are some coming up for her that are the same that I had, and I'm very interested to get her reactions to some of these things that have stuck with me. And you know, folks, what I'm talking about because you were there for a lot of it as well. So one of the things that I want to make sure that she does is take stock of, especially season 2 episodes. I'd like a few more clips than we had this time around, but those seminal moments that stick out to her, and just to write them down somewhere and bank them so that I can get the time codes later on, and we can do that same thing again, because getting to watch her reaction to specific beats that were important to her, and then me being able to going through, it's like, this one is important to me. Let's see if she stops and says anything. And there were a couple where I went in there and I'm like, maybe and she glossed over it. It didn't hit her like it hit me. And that's just how it is with television. So it's cool. It's cool all the same. What have we got here? We have a huge lineup that's heading your way for the rest of the season. If I can get my button placement correct here. Alexis Cruz, Skaara in the Stargate feature film and in SG-1. He's joining us tomorrow for Valentine's Day at 9 a.m. Pacific time. This is the 3rd time we've had him on. And then hopefully on Sunday, I have yet to review it, so we'll see. Simone Bailey, Mike Dopood, and Sharon Taylor, Kal-El, Varro, Ora Ventrell. The dude was in so much stuff. And Amelia Banks, they're going to be joining us from a December recording live that we did together. That's a roundtable discussion. If you saw the one that we did with Jacqueline Samuda, Tom Macbeth, and Garwin Sanford, we did another one with Simone, Mike, and Sharon together. And it's a little bit of a different energy. And that's going to be a conversation that we're going to have on the 15th of February at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If I can get everything together in time. It's going to be a little bit of a rush, but hopefully it'll be out there at that time. If not, I'm working on it. Jack O'Neill's Finest Hour. We are going to reveal what that is. It may be something that you don't think of. And that's going to be on February the 16th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We're bringing back Fused Films' Kevin Call to have that discussion. That is a pre-recorded show as well. And then the 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Radek Zelenka, actor David Nickel. The 17th, we have Pierre Bernard O'Brien in Stargate SG-1 in the season 8 episode 0 Hour, I believe that's right, and in season 10's 200. And on the 21st of February, Dion Johnstone, a pre-recorded interview with Shaka, Tyler, Wodan. This guy was prolific. That's going to be, that says 8 a.m. Pacific? Why do I have it that early? We'll see if that sticks. If you enjoy Stargate and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, please click that like button. It does make a difference with the show and will continue to help us grow our audience. Please also consider sharing this video with a Stargate friend. And if you want to see more episodes like this, click subscribe if you want to get notified about more of them. And clicking the bell icon and click will notify you the moment new video drops, and you'll get my notifications of any last minute guest changes, and clips from this episode will be released over the course of the next few weeks on the Dial the Gate YouTube channel. Go and check out the Daily Gate. We are still putting out daily clips, 1 or 2 a day over there. It's our 3rd YouTube channel. It's clicking right along. There was this one clip from Torment of Tantalus that just absolutely went viral. It's like 120,000 views or something. It's absolutely bananas. I could not believe that. And of course, you know, that's the one that I highlighted here as well. So maybe there's something to that. And I think that's what we've got for you all. My tremendous thanks to my whole team. Stick around and smile as you go through the credits because they've put in a lot of work. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you on the other side.